Thank you for staying with us. As the festive season approaches, many people are gearing up for vacation trips to relax and celebrate with family, friends, and loved ones. This is also a time where several vehicles ply the roads in hopes to get to their holiday destinations. According to a report from the Federal Road Safety Corps, thousands of vehicles are usually involved in road accidents, and most of the accidents recorded during this period are mostly caused by reckless driving, poor condition of the roads, bad condition of the vehicle, and even tiredness on the part of the drivers. With many people wrapping up for business for the year, this may be a time to create more awareness on the need to adhere to safety rules while on the road. Joining us in the studio to discuss some road safety measures is Corps Commander, Lagos State Sector Command, Babatunde Farinlui. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Right.
having me.
Now, let's even begin by understanding why the Ember periods are seemingly peculiar when it comes to driving. We hear this period, there's often quite a number of accidents over the years. This is what we've witnessed, and one needs to know why it's so.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ember month is the last 4 months of the year. Specifically, the last 3 months, October, November, and December, is believed to be months that characterized with evil occurrences. But
Superstitious beliefs?
yeah, I think it's fallacious. And FRSC is always coming out to debunk that erroneous impression. It's a kind of delusion, right, because there's no difference between the months from January to August and from September to December. The only difference is that there is increase in socio-economic activities, religious activity, cultural activities. People want to marry, churches, mosques, and all these people, they want to carry out some religious activities. Like along this corridor, Lagos by Expressway, we'll have a congress for Deeper Life, for Redeem, along the expressway. People will be coming from every part of the country. Some Easterners will be going back to the east, the Northerners will be going back to the north, and so on and so forth. And during this time, there will be burgeoning traffic movement. People will be moving here and there, economic activity will be at its peak, and then people are in a hurry.
Right.
People will be under pressure. Travelers that are moving, drivers that are driving, they will not have enough time to rest. They will not have enough time to put their vehicles in order. So this period, road safety places road safety places a high premium on the issue of Ember Month. That's why we kickstarted with what we call Ember Month Safety Campaign Flag Off. We did our own in Lagos on the 19th of October at Terminal 2, Oshodi, during which we brought all the stakeholders together at the park, and we tried to sensitize them. After that, the campaign train has been moving around the whole of Lagos from one local government to another. So inside people, we have been going from church to church, from mosque to mosque, doing what we call domesticated public enlightenment. And then we have intensified our early morning safety cry to the parks. And we do what we call pre-trip checks on the vehicles that are going out. And at the same time, we are now campaigning around the nook and cranny of Lagos, championing the safe system approach as enshrined in the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy in tandem with the United Nations Decade of Action. Second Decade of Action, targeting, we have a vision where crashes will not result in fatality and serious injury. Also, we're also targeting a country where you can travel on the road happily without apprehension or worries. And with this, the only thing we can do to ensure that this thing continue is for people to have what we call attitudinal change. People are too conscious of their time and money. Everybody's in a hurry. And that's what happened between Mowe and Redeem yesterday, early morning. I rushed to the place, and I got there, I saw that it was an avoidable crash. Because it was as a result of carelessness, impatience, and speeding. The most prevalent causal factor of RTC in Nigeria today is speeding, excessive speed. People are always in a hurry, crossing the lanes. The man wanted to overtake. He saw a trailer. He decided to, maneuver the other lane. He now hit a bus, and then the crash occurred. And while they were still there, because it was still dark, a truck that was coming behind that I didn't see very well because visibility is very poor, also rammed into them. And then 5 vehicles were involved. But thank God, no life was lost. So I want to use this opportunity to educate Nigeria and to appeal to them to please avoid night journey because visibility is very poor. And again, during this period, is the sea rainy season. In November, we are still experiencing torrential rainfall. So I want to enjoin people to please ensure that when they are driving, they go at regulated speed limit. They should not exceed the normal speed limit on the expressway.
Okay, so from what you have just said, it brings to mind the question of one-way drivers on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway especially. How has the agency been able to work with other relevant stakeholders to ensure that it stops? Because I remember during when JBN was fixing the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, a lot of people used one way to get into Lagos. So,
I think that one has stopped now.
Has it?
It has stopped. But I can assure you, that time it was the VIPs that were violating the rules.
Okay.
But now, it is the recalcitrant drivers that are doing that. You see all these trucks, especially the tippers, doing that. So we decided to come together. We have a stakeholder interagency collaboration meeting with other stakeholders last week. And we have resolved to carry out a kind of joint operation, special intervention patrol along that axis, so that people that are harmed will be able to join us to enforce that law of people driving against traffic is very dangerous. So by the time we start, anyone that is arrested will be forced to face the mobile court. Because the amount as the penalty for driving against traffic is in road safety is so small. It's just 5,000. So with mobile court, I think it would be better for them to be able to deter them from continuing against committing that same offense.
Are we looking at a review of that law?
Yeah.
It's beyond me. It's a policy issue. It is,
right. That's why I'm asking if we are pushing.
Yes, definitely. The management in Abuja, they are looking along that line. But I want to make it clear that FRSC is not a revenue-generating agency. Our interest is not to inflict pains on people, but rather to deter them from committing the crime. That is the essence of fine. It's not to make money. So we only want to do it. We want to make sure, since people are becoming so recalcitrant, and they are doing it with impunity, so we want to ensure that they stop this thing at all, because that's why we want to bring in the issue of mobile court during this period.
Okay, so let's get back to the campaigns of the FRSC, usually done during this period ahead yuletide season. We see the FRSC do this on a yearly basis, and one would have expected that by now a lot of these drivers would have understood what the intentions of the FRSC is, that it is even in their interest at the end of the day, and so would have developed that consciousness to ensure that they drive safely at the regulated speed. But we are not seeing that. What do you think is happening?
Well, I think there's an improvement, because if we go to the parks now, hardly will you see where they are displaying all these alcoholic beverages as usual. It has reduced drastically. And we do have what we call early morning safety crowd. We visit the parks very early in the morning. We talk to both the passengers, the drivers, and we have very good understanding with the transport unions. So with that, I'm sure there's an improvement. Although when it comes to speed crease, it will always happen because of money issue. Everybody's in a hurry to make money during Ember month. That is just the problem I think is happening. And that's why I said at the beginning that we need attitudinal change for us to get better result as far as our campaign is concerned.
Right.
All right, so talking about road safety, at a recent report by the FRSC, I think there's been the FRSC recorded about 15.5% reduction in fatalities, 14% decrease in road crashes, and 14% decrease in the number of injured victims. Of course, 14% decrease from last year.
Last year.
Yes. So in all of this now, what are the plans by the FRSC for the Ember month, for December especially? A lot of people are going to be traveling. The road is going to be very busy. What are the plans?
The plan is, one, in Lagos. We are going to have strategic deployment of our personnel at specific flashpoints to reduce congestion, one, to ensure free flow of traffic, to do a kind of surveillance on the road, arrest violators, and ensure quality travel time for Lagosians along all Lagos road, especially Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Another thing is that we have the operational tools, especially our logistics. We have heavy-duty tow truck to remove any broken down obstruction or vehicle that is constituting obstruction on the road. We have our vehicles, we have new vehicles, new patrol vehicles to patrol the routes. Then we have our men fully ready. And we also want to work with LASMA, VIS, other sister agency to ensure that the period is free for everybody. We make it accident-free at all costs.
Right. Now let's still go back to the matter of, you said you do early morning cries at the parks.
Yes.
And I'm wondering the kind of feedback you're getting from these drivers, how they are cooperating with what the FRSC is doing. Because this period, like you mentioned, everybody's in a hurry to make money. And another aspect with regards to that is this matter of overloading. They want to carry as many load as possible to travel as it is this period. What is the FRSC doing with regards to that, and what is the level of awareness?
The theme for our safety campaign for this year is speed thrills but kills. Avoid overloading. Drive responsibly. All these things we are talking about is we play emphasis on speeding, overloading, and responsible driving. We're also working with NDLEA to ensure that people are not driving under influence. That's another problem we're having. People driving under influence. People driving under the influence of both alcohol, psychoactive substances, illicit drugs, and so on and so forth. So we'll work together to ensure that at least this one is reduced drastically. If the NDLEA is there to work, the synergy is there with the civil defense, the LASMA, and other people, I think we'll be able to crash the crashes on Lagos roads.
But what is the measure to monitor these drivers to ensure they adhere? That's my concern here. When you talk about this matter of overloading and being under the influence, what's the measure put in place to monitor them?
There's no specific parameter to measure. What we would do is, on every pillar of 19th Nation Decade of Action, we have about 7 E's. We have enlightenment, we have education, we have engagement of people, we have evaluation, environment, emergency response, and so on and so forth. All these things are what we'll put into work. Enlightenment we have been doing in the churches, in the mosque, marketplaces, the parks, and so on and so forth. Education we are doing in terms of our free vehicles, free drivers training. Yeah. We have been doing that. And then the issue of engagement of people, we have been engaging both special and regular marshals. We engage community responders, first responders to help us to do the work, and every other person that is ready to help us to champion the cause of road safety, we bring them together. Then we bring in enforcement. Enforcement now will engender our men being on the road at all times and ensuring that people are doing the right thing. Anyone that is caught, we brought to book. But we don't bring enforcement first. We bring education and enlightenment before we start talking of enforcement. So what we are doing, there is no specific parameter to measure whether people are cooperating or they are not. They are complying or not complying. The point is, we have gone to the parks, we have spoken to the transport union, we have spoken to opinion leaders, youth leaders, and others. What we expect them to now do is, to monitor whether people are complying. And if they're not complying, we sanction. That is what we can do.
You mentioned earlier about responsible driving.
Yes.
Responsible driving to me can be different from the next person.
Absolutely.
So what constitutes responsible driving?
Yes, what I mean by responsible driving is you learn how to share the road with others.
Okay.
You learn how to obey traffic rules and the traffic managers on the road. You learn how to manage. You see, the idea of people crisscrossing the lanes is one of the problems we have in Nigeria. Lane indiscipline. People just move from one lane to another. They don't care about whether the person that is coming, what the state of mind, because driving is a profession or a skill that requires 100% concentration. If you are not, if you are not concentrating, a second, not a minute, a second distraction can cause problem for you. The size of the average size of or width of road in Nigeria is about 12 meters. And we are moving at 100 kilometers per hour. You cover about 27.8 meters in 1 second. So if you are distracted for 1 second, imagine where you will be. If the road is just 12 meters, imagine where you will be. So you need to learn how to drive responsibly, considering others. So that's where defensive driving comes in. So people should learn how to drive. Don't claim right of way. Don't think you are right. Don't think the way you are normal. That's the way the other people are normal. We have a lot of mad people that are wearing cloth. That is there are a lot of insanity on Nigerian roads. That's why we are talking about responsible driving.
It's interesting to hear that what responsible driving is, but then again, some persons will say that this person is in front of me is wasting my time. I
need to move.
You mentioned it earlier that being in a hurry, it's a characteristic of a majority of drivers on Nigerian routes, and that is where the matter of the signs and symbols perhaps will come right now if we have that on the roads, understanding the speed limit for each route as it is.
It is there. It's nothing new. In the highway code, it has been specified. And people are expected to go to driving school to learn the rudiment of driving on Nigerian road. And if you are there, they would let you understand that you are not supposed the speed limit on Nigeria road is 100 kilometers per hour for cars. For other vehicles, it varies. For category of vehicles, it also varies. On expressway, it's 100 kilometers. That's the speed limit. On single carriageway, it's 90. For buses, it's 80 on single carriage. On the expressway, it's 90. So if you maintain this, you will still remember there's something we call common sense speed. When it is raining, when you get to built-up area, you go at common sense speed. You're not supposed to go at 100 kilometers per hour because you assume that they said on the expressway it's 100 kilometers. Even when it is raining, you go at 100 kilometers per hour. You are forgetting that when the road is wet, it will be slippery, visibility will be very poor, and traction will be reduced. So there's need for you to go at a speed that we're able to control. Because when the road is wet, there is what we call hydroplaning. That's water between the tire and the road surface that will reduce the traction because the tire will not be able to grab the surface of the road. So you have to go at a speed that will be able to control so that you will not lose your balance. Another thing is we do have stagnant water on the road. If you enter stagnant water all of a sudden, it can take over the steering from you and then you will lose your balance. So Those are some of the things we have been teaching people. And it does not start with road safety. It starts right from driving school. And that's why road safety is insisting now. But before you can become a driver on Nigerian roads, you must pass through accredited driving school, have the certificate before you can now be presented by the VIS to road safety for physical capture. So it's not business as usual. Like just stay in the comfort of your home and you'll get your driver's license. So you must be properly schooled and monitored and ensure that you have a kind of behavioral change in you before you can obtain driver's license in Nigeria.
You mentioned that on the expressway, the normal speed limit is 100 kilometers.
For cars.
For cars.
Yes.
Some people say that's slow.
It's not slow.
Because you're driving and it's like she mentioned, the person behind you is honking, blaring his horns and saying, please leave the road, I need to go.
No.
So, but then for instance, if you have people in the car and a lot of people are overtaking you, the people in the car are going to be telling you, guy, what kind of driving is this? So
move the car. The road is
so you
free.
now start moving towards 160.
How do you manage that in
Yes.
that kind of situation?
You see,
because we see where passengers do that.
Thank you very much. That's why I said for road transportation to happen, we need the vehicle, the driver, and the road. And for United Nations Decade of Action, we're talking about road safety management. We're talking about the road users' behavior. We're talking about the road. We're talking about speed. We're talking all those things. We're talking about emergency response. Speed constitutes the most prevalent causal factor of RTC in Nigeria. And that's why we're always talking about speed. Presently, we have seen that it's very difficult for us to enforce speed limit on Nigerian roads. That's why we now decided to be enforcing installation of speed limiting device.
But that is
especially
that's for public vehicles.
For now.
Okay.
For now. With time, it will get to every other person. So the commercial vehicles, if you can succeed in arresting them, it will be easier for private vehicles. I hope you agree with me. It will be easier for us. So now, if you put it on commercial vehicle and they are forced to go at 100 kilometers per hour, some of them are using it, especially these fleet operators, under our road transport safety standardization scheme. They are using it, and it is working. So if others will also imbibe that culture, then I think we'll have a drastic reduction in accident, and we'll be able to fulfill that vision of United Nations Decade of Action that says that by 2030, accident will reduce or crash will reduce by 50%. And then the goal of having the road free of any fatality or serious injury.
How far have we come with regards to this goal by the United Nations?
I think you said it when you started that it has reduced compared with last year. We are moving. In road safety, for this, we have agreed to spread this thing for 10 years, 5% per year, times 10 is 50%. We'll make it 50%. So every year we have been reducing it. Presently, I can tell you that we have reduced accidents in Lagos by more than 5% this year. Because if you look at it till October this year, number of people killed, number of RTC that were recorded, and the injuries sustained, all those things, it has reduced drastically.
Okay, so in the light of all of this now, how are you going to be putting more into your campaigns for the Ember month, of course, because like we mentioned earlier, people are going to be traveling very, very soon. The roads are going to be really, really busy. Are you going to put more into the campaign to reach more areas, especially, and how far have you gone in enlightening students, especially primary school, nursery school students, on these kinds of campaigns?
Thank you very much. There is a PEP project that we just embarked on in Lagos State that we call Who Will Pay My School Fees? You see, there's a kind of indoctrination we are trying to do on these our pupils, especially in primary and junior secondary school, so that if they are properly indoctrinated, they'll be able to also influence their parents. Imagine a road safety club member that was traveling with his dad, and all of a sudden he saw that the father was exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. And I told the dad, I'm pressed. I want to ease myself. The father was forced to park, and he came down and said, Dad, you want to kill us. We were told in the school that we should not exceed 100 kilometers. I can see you are making 120. Have we not succeeded in using that child to save the family? That is part of road safety is doing. And at the same time, these road safety club members, they are now like, it's the third arm, the third tier of FRSC. We have the regular marshal, we have the special marshals, and we have the road safety club members. We have some core members that are members of road safety club. So all these people are assisting us to spread the gospel. They are moving the crusade around, and we have reinvigorated our campaign to churches and mosques and other public places so much that every Sunday there's no way you will not see road safety in some churches and mosques on Friday. So it will continue like that till the end of the year.
Interesting. Now, how about places where the states of the road are quite horrible as it is? Earlier in the papers, we're looking at one of the papers where the state of the road, the picture there spread on the front page, the cars, a truck was stuck on the road, so also was a car. But though that was relating to the matter of transportation with regards to feeding, but also the state of the road is also part of what contributes to the number of accidents we're witnessing in the country, as it's been reported. How should people maneuver such roads that are quite perhaps not road-friendly or not car-friendly, because we hear of roadworthiness of a car, but then the state of the road may not be as worthy for the car itself?
All right. The 80% of the accidents or crashes that are happening on the road are caused by human factor, especially the drivers. So the driver can identify black spot on the road. They know places that are not good, and they should take precautionary measure to avoid accident at those points. At the same time, we have been doing what we call road safety audits on the road. Periodically, we do what we call road safety audits. And during that time, we move around the roads and check for fair portions of the road. Places that need to be worked upon, we get in touch with appropriate authorities, especially Federal Ministry of Works, in terms of the federal road, then State Ministry of Works in terms of the state road. We pass the report to them for remedial solution. That is our own aspect of the job. Well, I can assure you the federal government is trying. You can see the road from Lagos to Ibadan is so wide now. There's no pothole yet. Accident has not reduced.
But have you been in situations whereby accident happens at places where there were sudden black spots? Like you drive there today, no, there's no black spots there. But the next day you wake up and there's suddenly a black spot in that same spot.
It's possible. Sabotage comes to play in that situation. Right. I've seen a situation where some people deliberately create potholes for vehicles to slow down so that they can perpetrate their evil plots, whether kidnapping, robbery, and other things. So it's possible. But it's not that there's no way that the asphalt on a road, on a particular road, will just wash off overnight. Just wash off overnight. It's not possible.
It's not, actually.
It must be sabotage.
Sabotage, indeed. We'll have to leave this conversation here now.